Because as we all know, elections matter. And when folks vote, they order what they want, and in this case, they got what they asked for.
Greetings to my general viewing audience. Kamala Harris said it correct when she stated that you got what you asked for. And I'm talking about the 80 plus million individuals who allegedly voted for Joe Biden. I knew, and any intelligent person should have known, that if you put Joe Biden into office, you would have record inflation. You would have, well, I don't know if it's a record yet, but that you would have inflation. That gas prices would rise. That there would be a terrorist attack. When you've got a weak president, then your country is weak. And if your country is weak, then people are going to take advantage of that weakness. Unfortunately, it's like the situation, I didn't see it, but the situation in Ukraine, I could not have predicted that. But I will tell you this, and I will tell you this now. Taiwan is next. China will not sit back and miss this opportunity to annex Taiwan. But I'm getting off subject, so let me get back to the black. You see, it was the black voters who helped put this individual into office. And you should be ashamed of yourselves because you keep voting for Democrats. And Democrats keep kicking you in your nuts, in your vagina, stabbing you not in your back, but in your front. And you are too blind to see that shit. Or maybe you've just got, short-term memory loss. We'll see what happens in 2022, because if you are black and vote for a Democrat in 2022, you get what you get. You see, no. Let me go ahead. Again, y'all know I don't edit if you followed any of my previous videos. But what you should hopefully be looking at on your screen are votes by gender and race, although it's just the black and white race. See, black men, 18% of them voted for Donald Trump in 2020, but 80% of them voted for Joe Biden. Is that a 4-1? But then you go to the black women, the strong black women. I guess intelligence and strength don't go hand in hand, because 91% of black women voted for Joe Biden and only 8% for Trump. So what you've got here, looking at just raw numbers, is 16 million black people voted for Joe Biden. And I'll just round up by that 0.3. You've got 2.3 million voted for Donald Trump. As Kamala Harris said, you got what you asked for, and I hope that shit hurts. I mean, I'm feeling it's not pain, a little stiffness in my wallet. Hasn't gotten to the point of being pain yet. Because what you voted for was inflation. What you voted for was for him to cut off that energy spigot. He turned off the energy in America. So, of course, gas prices have gone up. The cost for heating your home, that liquid natural gas, that has gone up. Especially if you're back east, you black MFers in New York, too bad y'all didn't freeze to death for voting for Joe Biden. Those 16 million votes, if even half of them went for Donald Trump, you wouldn't have this type of inflation. Now, of course, with inflation, that means the cost of everything goes up. And gas is tied into that too, but what you should be looking at on your screen right now should be the inflation from, oh, that's before 1970, isn't it? Up to 2020, and it shows you January 2022. Excuse me, I said inflation, but it's technically the consumer price index is at 7.4, and that was as of January. So that's going to hit you. That's going to hit you later. So it hasn't really hit you yet because the consumer price index is almost like a precursor. So it's telling you shit's coming. And when it comes, it's going to hit your black asses harder than anyone else. Now, the reason I say it's going to hit black folks harder than anyone else is because there are a higher percentage. Now, I'm not talking about raw numbers. There is a higher percentage of black people that are at that poverty line than there are white people. And I'm going to try to bring this up so that you can see it on your screen right now. I believe 21+% of black individuals, 1 in 5, is below that poverty line. And no, that says 9+% of white people. Pretty much, if you're looking at the raw numbers, that's 8.7 million black people, more or less, that are in poverty, and there's like 17 million white people that are below that poverty line. But then you still have 90% of the white people who aren't. And just because your black ass is not below the poverty line, that does not mean you're flush with cash. What that means is you're just not below the poverty line. But the black middle class is disappearing because it's becoming the lower middle class or the upper lower class. Either way, that inflation is going to hit you in the ass. Hold on while I hydrate. Got those vitamins WHISKEY tonight. But when you're paying more at the store, now I'm not a rapper, but when you're paying more at the store, you're going to have to cut out certain things. Now, remember when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stated to the school children and whatnot, oh, that maybe they could go one day without meat or dairy to help with climate change. Yeah, that's all part of the climate change agenda. Well, I guess thanks to the stupid, I won't even say ignorant, the stupid black people who cast their vote for the wrong person. Well, now you're paying more for meat and dairy, or you would if you could afford to buy it. Eggs up 29.3%. Beef chuck roast 28.7%. Bacon, and you know us black folks, we like our bacon. Shit. Up 27.9%. Can't have no barbecue without a hamburger. And what's a hamburger made of? Ground beef. 17.7%. Now I'm going to skip a few. Oh, shit, I can't skip this. Shit, pork chops. Hell, had me some pork chops on Monday and Tuesday because it had the leftovers. And milk, up 8.4%. You see, Democrats play that long game. And it's a con game, really. That long con game. They say, oh, we don't want you to eat meat 7 days a week. Take out one day. Help the climate. But you don't want to do it. So what do? Cause inflation. Now you can afford to eat meat 7 days a week with your broke black ass. Then, or meat or dairy. They wanted to get you out of your cars. So, hey, we need to cut down on carbon emissions. So you shouldn't drive your car everywhere. Y'all should hop your happy black ass on the bus. And for you black MFers in New York, get that bus, get that subway, shit. Get your ass stabbed, hit in the head with a hammer, pushed on the motherfucking railroad tracks, whatever. You get what you voted for. I'm sorry, you got what you asked for. They want you out of your individual vehicle onto public transport. And because you would not do it willingly, therefore they artificially inflated the gas prices by taking us from energy independence to buying oil from our enemies. Now, if we're not going to buy it from Russia, then oh well, we could try maybe see if we can make an arrangement with Iran. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but this is what you got, black people, when you voted for a Democrat. Let me just skip on to something else because there's a whole lot to touch upon here. Let's just go back and maybe try to wrap the whole thing up. Talked about black people who are below the poverty line. But let's just talk about black income in general. Hold on one moment. What you should be looking at now is the median household income by race and ethnicity. And just like in a lot of those other cases, black folks are trailing behind everyone else. And it doesn't have Pacific Islanders or Native Americans here. But look at that. 2019, 46. Well, and let me explain it for some dummies out there. So median income is not average. So median and average is different. So median means half the people make below 46,000 a year and half the people make more than 46,000 a year. Looking just at the black race. But I want you to look at the trend there. Now, you'd actually have to go to this website, and maybe I'll put the description in the description box, but I doubt it. In 2000, that was George Bush, the second one. We were at 45,000 plus per year. By the time he got out of office in 2008, he took us from 45,000 plus to 42,000. Thanks a lot, George, a Republican. Then Obama got in office in 2008. And so, yeah, he black, you black, we gonna come up. We came up so much that our median household income went from $42,000 to $40,000. Then in 2016, when Donald Trump took office, our median household income went up about $6,000. That's right. Now, technically, he did run on the Republican ticket. But he was a businessman, not a politician. And we came up, not just us. Everyone came up in those 4 years with Donald Trump. Now, I guarantee you this, just like I guaranteed you inflation, high gas prices, and a terrorist attack. The Democrats are going to point to the fact that the median household income for black people went up under Joe Biden. I mean, I doubt it will, honestly, but should it happen, they will point to it. However, what difference does it make if your median household income went up 2.5% and inflation went up 7.4%? You're making more money, but you can buy less shit with it. Look, I'm gonna have you just hold on before I close out. So hold on a moment.
They want from you, and one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Well, you know,
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media. You
I
want,
can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
okay.
I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see
Take a
you.
look at my record, man.
There. I just wanted to remind you of what Joe Biden said to Charlemagne the God. I won't even get into Charlemagne. But he said, look at his record. And what you should be seeing on your screen right now should be his 1994 crime bill, or an explanation of it. And when you look at it, in effect, it was 100-1 crack versus powder cocaine sentencing. Now, as you just saw from the chart, with individuals below the poverty line, with the median household income, I'm gonna be blunt here, so it's near the end of the video. Fuck it. Yeah, folks like to get high. White folks, black folks, every folks like that cocaine. They like it, regardless of your race. Some of y'all like that cocaine. Except white folks have more money, so they get that powder cocaine because that costs more money. Black folks have to rock that shit up. It's got that Pyrex for. So it was less the rock cocaine was less expensive because black folks could afford that shit. So we could get high just like the white folks. However, with Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill, it was 100-1 crack versus powder. So you have 5 grams of crack cocaine. That was a minimum 5-year federal prison sentence. Whereas you would need 500 grams of powder cocaine in order to get a 5-year mandatory minimum. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and get you 5 grams of crack and then 500 grams of powder and then compare that shit and see what it looks like. If you want to, you go on and do that shit, but you see what I'm saying? It takes an activity that black people tended to engage in and criminalizes it 100-1 when compared to an activity that white people engaged in. That was fucked up. And this isn't a pro-Trump video, and I did vote for Donald Trump. Twice. Not twice, once. Because I was in the hospital the first time. But the fact of the matter is, it took not a Republican, not a Democrat, it took a businessman named Donald Trump to overturn is not the word, I guess, but he addressed this disparity, this just fucked up thing that Joe Biden did to black people, and started releasing folks because that shit was unfair. Obama talked about it but didn't do shit about it, and I don't even believe George Bush even talked about it. People languished in jail for over 20 years because of racial inequities, if you want to call it that. But that's it, that's all. If you want more of the same, if you want more of Democrats who pretend to be your friend and then fuck you over, well, you go ahead and you do that. I got enough money, I could still buy this overpriced bacon. I could still pay for this overpriced gas. But don't complain about shit when you vote for it. I'm out.